Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Cut to the Chase Sports Podcast. This is episode 6 of season 2, where we bring a unique insight and analysis, from a unique perspective. College, NFL, sometimes high school. You know the deal. I'm your host, Chase Yachts. Brady
Chase, you're
is.
kind of lagging right now.
I am. That's a big issue of mine. I don't know what's up with that, um, but like I said, Brady is not going to be on, and Jake will be on here today. Jake, how you doing?
I'm pretty good. How about you?
I'm doing all right, man. Doing pretty good. You know, we've got a lot of stuff to talk about. A lot of uncertainty, I would say, about both of our teams.
For
Um,
sure.
we just saw the rankings reveal for the college football playoff. I'll get those pulled up, but I mean, I think it's pretty fresh in our mind right now about how we feel about our Ohio State Buckeyes and just the whole landscape in general. Um, so let's go from 10 and get into the top six. So Notre Dame at
You're
10.
still you're like in it, so I don't know if you want like a little bit to see it
Do what now?
better. You're in and out bad.
You all right?
Yeah, I'm good. You're just cutting in really bad.
Oh, really? Okay,
Yeah,
hold
you're
on.
fine now. Doing the intro. You were.
Okay, so it just kind of goes off and on, stuff like that. Oh, yeah. Here. Looking looking right now, Notre Dame at 10, Wake Forest 9. Notre Dame 7-1, Wake Forest is 8-0. And then the big fall, Oklahoma at 8. What were thoughts on the Oklahoma falling that far, Jake?
Um, Drop to 8. I don't. I kind of see this ranking in general as just kind of out there. To be honest with you. I mean, I don't get the I don't think Oklahoma's a very solid team. I don't get how you can be undefeated playing Big 12 and still be number 8. Yeah, how they can have that uncertainty between that and just the normal AP poll that to be 8 where there what are they 4 or 5 people somewhere around there. I
Yeah,
could be
yeah.
wrong
hmm
there.
Yeah. It's a little different. I don't understand. They fell pretty far though. I believe where were they? They were at I believe 3, right? They were at 3.
I think so.
Coming in and stuff. But man, that was a big drop. That was a very big surprise seeing them not on that top 6 window that they had. Um, with that, I think Caleb Williams is playing spectacular football right now. He's playing some great football. Spencer Rattler, who is what the whole nation's saying right now. So I
Yeah,
mean, obviously, I wouldn't say obviously if they keep it up because apparently the committee feels a certain type of way about the Big 12, but I mean, all Oklahoma can really do is just win out at this point and just hope that, some teams lose and
yeah,
people knock off each other on the way. And then number 7 is Michigan. They came off a tough loss against Michigan State. That was one hell of a football game, I will say.
oh for
Um,
sure.
hmm I mean, that
I
was
don't
a good
think you can
pick.
knock that very far for what happened.
Yeah, not at all. I mean,
Going,
that was
I honestly think they should come out as the win in that game. Like, feel like that they played overall better. I still think they are better than Michigan State, but I mean, that's the only problem. I'd be fine with like the box if Oklahoma and Michigan flip. I think I'd be okay with. I just think lost Michigan team should be able to jump undefeated Oklahoma team.
Yeah, I mean Michigan. I do think that they looked better definitely against Michigan State overall. They played I'd say a more complete game than Michigan State. Michigan State just had some spurts and bursts where they were, they took advantage of it, and Michigan State was able to get the job done. I mean, that's just how it is. But I will say this is a better Michigan team that we have seen in a very long time. So I do think. I mean, I do think I'd say I count this as quote unquote win, not a moral win, but just as a quote unquote win in that way, because that was a very good football game by two very good football teams.
Chase, you're straight.
What's going on?
You're still kind of lagging. I can like hear like one out. Would you say?
Yeah, I have no idea.
Don't like try to like refresh or something.
Yeah, I'll try that. I'll try that real quick.
All right, let's see if that worked.
Yeah, I don't understand what the whole problem is with my stuff. I really don't know that Wi-Fi.
It feels better right now.
Okay, hopefully it stays that way. But looking at Michigan, that was a good game on Saturday. But then we go to that top six. Um, I think people weren't really surprised that Cincinnati fell from 2, but I think it was the fact of how far they fell.
Yeah.
When it comes to that, falling from 2 to 6. Obviously, you can make the case that, oh, they don't play anybody, their schedule's weak. They play in the American Athletic Conference and all that, which is true. I mean, they did beat a Notre Dame team, top 10 Notre Dame team, but, the committee obviously valued that stuff pretty well about that. A pretty good balance in that stuff.
Yeah, I agree with that. Yeah, I was kind of shocked when I saw they fell all the way to 6. I honestly don't think it's the wrong ranking. Actually, no. I do still think that's wrong. Nah, maybe not. I just don't see how Oregon jumped to 4.
That's
what's thrown me off. All the other teams I'm okay with being up there above Cincinnati. Even I'm with Oklahoma, and I would be okay with them throwing Oklahoma in front of Cincinnati. I just can't see how Oregon jumped both of them.
Yeah, that's confusing because, you would think, normally they would put a team like Oklahoma and have them up there in that top 4.
Which they usually do.
Yeah,
they usually do.
They're Big 12. I mean, Big 12 undefeated. Power 5 school, it's undefeated. And you would normally have them up there. That's just kind of how it's like. Because I thought originally going in, it would be Georgia. And then I know they would put Bama up there. Just the value of Alabama as a program, they value that, and they'll put them up there.
I think one thing I would kind of say about this is what I was expecting going in today was Georgia number 1. I think unanimous number 1 team in the nation right now.
Yeah, not at all.
And I would have been okay with a Michigan State number 2, because they just came off number 7 Michigan at the time win. So that makes sense.
Yep.
Them to jump that high. And then I'd probably okay with, I don't even know, because you got to look at Alabama. Who they lose to?
Texas A&M.
A&M.
At the time, I think A&M was 3-2 at the time.
Yeah, they were 6-2 now. They're the 14th ranked team in the nation.
So
I don't get how you can put Ohio State. How you can put them over Ohio State when Ohio State's only loss is the number 4 team.
Yeah, that
in Oregon.
They've got this stuff really. It's just so confusing to pick apart right now because, like you said, Georgia number 1 team, unanimous. I don't think that's much of a question.
I think Michigan State deserves to be in the top 4. If not 2, they definitely should be a top 4 team after that win. Do I think they're a top 4 team in the nation? No, I think they'll get what's coming to them here soon.
In this,
but as of right now, yes. As of right now, they're in a fair ranking.
As of November 2nd, they are a top 4 team.
Yeah.
Right now, that's just how it is because they're undefeated and they beat a legit team, and we lost to a legit team as well. But I don't think that should really punish us that bad for that because Alabama losing to the A&M actually. A&M's 14.
Let me look up what A&M who they've played recently.
Yeah, because I believe A&M has a pretty big game on Saturday. They think they play Auburn Saturday, who's 13. So Bama has a couple. They have the Iron Bowl, this year as well at Auburn, which is going to be big. But
since A&M has played Alabama, they played Missouri. They won by 21, so they won by 3 touchdowns, and they played South Carolina, and they handled South Carolina. But let's look at Missouri. Right now, Missouri is what? They're 4-4, so they're a 500 team.
Yep.
I mean, not terrible, but not anything. Same with South Carolina. They're a 4-4 team right now. You look at Ohio State, especially if they come with. I don't think they played their best game against Penn State, but obviously a Penn State I think should still be a top 25 team in the nation. I don't
Yeah.
get how you can take a 5-3 Penn State team that beat Minnesota away and beat Auburn out of the
Yeah.
playoffs just because they lost. They played a really good game against Ohio State, lost to the number 22 ranked Iowa,
Yeah,
and then
because that was
lost. They had their one fluke loss of the year. How you can put like Pittsburgh, it's Pitt, it's 6-2, or
yeah. I don't.
Fresno State or Kentucky. There was someone I saw today. I saw a tweet today actually. I kind of want to see if I can pull it up. It was
Yeah, or you look at like.
There was a tweet of like the people from earlier saying like what their predictions were that they were going to be, and someone had Kentucky at number 4. Yeah, they had Kentucky at number 4.
Huh. Well, it just makes me a little laugh like that. What the heck?
Yeah.
But and I also was looking at a team that has the same record as Penn State, Mississippi State. Actually, Mississippi State is the 17th ranked team in the country right now. They beat Kentucky, they beat Texas A&M the week before. Actually, I forget with the dates right there. I think it was the week before before Alabama played Texas A&M. But like, I wouldn't say Mississippi State's losses are that impressive. They lost to Bama by 40. They lost to Memphis early in the season, and they lost to LSU the week after. So I would argue to say Penn State's loss. I wouldn't argue to say. I'd just say that Penn State's losses are better than a team like Mississippi State and all that. But they value Mississippi State so highly because they beat Texas A&M on the road and they beat a Kentucky team at home. So it's kind of weird how how the committee is valuing things and how they're trying to balance things out and stuff like that.
Yeah.
It just shows like how they value the SEC so much right now. Like that's just how it is. Georgia, Alabama 1 and 2, going down the line. Auburn 13, A&M 14, Ole Miss 16, Mississippi State 17, Kentucky 18. And that's it. There's 8. I mean, I believe that's 8 teams right there if I counted correctly. 7 or 8 teams right there. 7 teams that I counted in that top 18 from the SEC. Looking at it. I mean, the Big Ten also representing well. You got Michigan State, Ohio State, Michigan, going down the line. You also got Wisconsin in there. You got Iowa. That's 5 teams right there. But I mean, they do value those games a little differently, I will say. I think I think we know the way Ohio State's going to get in there is they win out. They win out, we're in. All right.
Oh, for sure. You can't. For sure.
That's common knowledge if you're a college football fan. Ohio State wins out, they're in. Which means that would kick Michigan State out if we win out, because obviously Michigan State will have a loss and then Michigan will have 2 losses. If that's the case, I'm not going to say that it's sold on that we're going to definitely win, because Michigan's a good football team. Michigan State's a very good football team. You still got to take care of business when it comes to that. You play at home against Michigan State, but they normally play us pretty tough. And then you play in the big house at Michigan, which, we've taken care of business, but this is a different Michigan team, I believe. But
yeah,
but still, like, that's the thing. You look at it, common knowledge. We take care of business. We're going to be in the college football playoff. I think the way a team on the outside, like a Cincinnati, gets in is that, looking at the rankings right now, they're going to need a team like an Oregon or someone to lose. Because the way that they're valuing Oregon, like they might have them at some point in the top 3, which I think is absurd. The way I look at it is, if Georgia makes it to the SEC championship at 12-0, and Bama makes it out at 11-1, Georgia has to beat Bama. Like, if Bama defeats Georgia, if Bama defeats Georgia, the SEC's locked. 2 teams are locked in the college football playoff. What would be a good scenario is if Georgia took a loss and those 2 teams battled it out, then one team would be gone. because there'd be a 2-loss team and a 1-loss team would make it as well. And then you'd have trouble, you had trouble on the seeding lines of who's number one and all that stuff. So, but yeah, you would need to have Georgia defeat Alabama if Georgia finishes undefeated and stuff like that. It's
which
gonna be.
I think will happen. I truly think that'll happen.
It's gonna be a mess sorting out these things though,
Oh,
because
for sure.
like once we get to I think after the Michigan State game, like in a couple weeks, I'd say, once we get to like Thanksgiving, we'll have a clear picture of all this. We'll have about a clear picture because of scenarios. But like if this team wins and they lose, they're in. If this team wins out, they're in. So like
this is a crazy statistic I have pulled up on my. This is on the college. Sorry to cut you off.
Now let's hear it.
So it's on the ESPN College Football Twitter page. It has the percentages to make the college football playoff.
Let's hear these.
Your highest is at Georgia 93%, which I'd say they're pretty much a lock. They just have to win the games and they can lose the conference. I still think they should get in.
Yep.
Alabama at 69%. Alabama's just they have to beat Georgia at the end of the year. They can't beat Georgia, then they're out.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Oklahoma 62%, which they probably will win out. So yeah, I would say they've beat the shot.
It's just so weird because they're down at 8 though. That's the thing. Like I don't know why they have them so far down, but they have the third best chance to make it. Like
this was Halloween night, so this was after all of the games.
Okay.
Last Saturday.
Yep. All right. Yep.
Or maybe this was before the games last Saturday.
Okay, well that makes more sense.
Yeah, because Cincinnati's at 57, and then Ohio State's at 53. The Michigan 20, Notre Dame 17, Michigan State 16, Oklahoma State 4, and Oregon 3% chance to make it before last week's game.
Obviously, the committee valued that. I think. Yeah, I was about to say that. I thought they played they played Colorado. They played Colorado, beat them 52-29. Yeah, and then the ABC game Saturday night they play at Washington. Like the rest of their schedule is a bunch of cakewalks because you have a 4-4, 5-4 Washington State team the week after. Then you have a 5-3 Utah team and a 5-3 Oregon State team.
Yeah, the only games that I'm seeing that they actually won that was they actually played against top 25 since Fresno State to open the year. Fresno State, I think, what I say now,
they're
23. So they beat Fresno State and they beat Ohio State. Besides that, they haven't played a top 25 team since. But the close game against California.
I was about to say, I thought they played Cal. I hope Cal played them pretty close and all.
And Cal's 3-5 this year.
Yeah.
And then you had a close game with UCLA. I think UCLA is a decent team this year.
I think they are too. I mean, obviously their record is a little bit deceiving, but they play team stuff. They play team stuff.
They're 5-4, so I mean they're playing. They're not having a bad season.
Yeah,
that was 3-point game.
Yep.
Who else did they play close? Besides that, no one else. I think even with Ohio State, I think they played absolutely atrocious against Oregon. I don't think it's the same team now.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
Mean,
the Oklahoma thing. That's just crazy to me.
It really
Oklahoma
is.
and Alabama being 2. Alabama being 2 is crazy. I think Alabama should be a top.
I thought they should have been 3 or 4. Like honestly, I didn't think they should have went up to 2 like that. But I thought they should have been 3 or 4. Like
I think Michigan State should have jumped to 2. Cincinnati should have been at 3. Alabama at 4. Ohio State. I think Ohio State in the 5 is fine.
Yeah, that I have no problem with them at 5 right now because we know that we went out. That's the thing.
And then at 6, Oklahoma.
And then 7, I'd say Oregon. Like I think they would
and then Michigan
stay.
8. Yeah.
But we literally just sorted out the committee thing in literally 30 seconds, and they seem somewhat botched it up pretty bad on the first night.
Yeah, because I mean, all you can see is, and it is early, and it was another tweet I saw was before you freak out, look at all the teams that went on to win. Ohio State the year they won it, they were 16th when the first bowl came out.
You're not wrong. Yeah, it's just you're gonna get a clear picture in 2 weeks or so.
Yeah,
that's the thing.
So in the past, all the teams now ranked number 1 tonight. Last year was the first season the actual number 1 team in the country won. Besides that, Ohio State with initial ranking was 16, Alabama was 4, Clemson was 2, Alabama 2, Clemson 2, LSU 2, and Alabama 1. So
Well, that two line's not good if that's the case. This
Yeah,
year's two line, but it is what it is. Um, I was gonna like looking at Ohio State, like you said after that Oregon game. This is it looks like a different team. Obviously, they took care of business against the teams that they were supposed to beat. Beat Tulsa by 21, but obviously that game wasn't a
yeah,
good look. But then, um, beat Akron by 50 plus, beat Rutgers by 39, beat Maryland by 40 plus, took care of business against Indiana by 40 plus, and then beat Penn State by 9, a tough Penn State team. So I mean, we know as fans where Ohio State is at, and I think we know, and we obviously know the scenario. So I think we know what needs to happen and all that.
yeah. I mean, I'm not nervous for Ohio State at all. I would say
Mm,
I'm not nervous. I wouldn't be nervous if you're a Georgia fan. Just went
not at
out.
all. Hmm.
Your job's just do what you're supposed to do.
Yeah, and they've been doing it the
But
whole entire year.
if you're a Cincinnati fan, you gotta start freaking out a little bit.
Yeah, like
Same with
you know.
Oklahoma. Like what happened? That's who I feel the worst for. What happened? And yeah, I don't think Oklahoma is very good. Like they play in a cakewalk conference, but I mean, I
I
think it's
mean,
still kind of crazy. They dropped to 8.
they're a Power Five that's 9-0. Like you would,
Yeah,
yeah. They would, people could make the same case for like a Wake Forest and stuff like that. They don't play in a great conference this year. They're 8-0. Like people would be like saying, "Oh, they should be in," and stuff like that. But honestly, you think about it, Oklahoma's and Wake Forest are in like the same position. So honestly, it's kind of weird that Oklahoma,
that's actually a good take.
yeah, like it's kind of different. I didn't I didn't really notice that Wake Forest
Yeah.
was like that this year.
So
So
I'm still on this college football thing on Twitter, and Roger Sherman said the college football playoff excluding non-power teams from the playoffs just made the playoff race less interesting. It further emphasizes any good non-power teams to leave the conferences and entrenching the Power Five as untouchable and slowly draining the life from non-power leagues. I think that's about says it perfectly right there.
yeah,
You'll see
no,
with like the UCF team that went on to win
yeah, they won.
a couple
They,
years
they beat
ago.
Auburn. They beat Auburn
Yeah,
in the Peach Bowl, I believe.
yeah,
Yeah,
they got
yeah.
snubbed from the top four. You'll see the
Mhm.
Cincinnati team. Even last year, they
Same
didn't get to
conference,
have
same conference.
yeah, didn't get to go for a run at it because them not being a Power Five school. And you'll see
Yeah.
that that's why those schools are leaving, join Big 12.
Yeah. Exactly, because they want to have that. They want to have the opportunity to do it. So that
Yeah,
makes a whole lot of sense. But I mean, this is going to be so interesting to shake out. What are your top four predictions when we talk about this in December? This is a
ooh,
tough question to ask, but
that's a tough. That's a
this is
long
a
time
really
away.
yeah. I mean,
Top four,
predictions.
like 1 through 4, or who's gonna be in the top four?
Who's gonna be in? We're that's gonna be a lot of stress putting who's 1 through 4, but
Who's gonna be in? I'm
yeah,
thinking. I think Ohio State will win out as an
I
Ohio
th-
State fan.
I think we'll
They
be
won't
in.
be 1, but I think they'll be in. I think Georgia will be in. I think Georgia
Yeah.
will probably be 1.
Hmm.
At this pace, I think Oregon's gonna get in.
Yeah.
Who's that last spot? I don't think Alabama will beat Georgia. I truly don't think Alabama will beat Georgia. So I think it should be either Oklahoma or Cincinnati should get the last spot. I think personally, I would love to see Cincinnati in it,
I would love
but
to as well, but they're gonna give the nod to the Big 12 team in this. I
yeah,
would that in this situation like that, they would give a nod to a Big 12 team.
yeah.
Um,
I don't know. I just don't see
I
Alabama
really want to see Cincinnati in
beating.
it though, like first from a
Yeah,
personal standpoint. Obviously, like, but yeah, but when in doubt, they always give a nod to a Power Five school. So when it comes down to a
yeah.
situation like that, that's just how it is.
So
I agree with
what are your thoughts on it?
I think Georgia's going to take care of business, and I think they'll be up there. Um, I just have a hard time seeing Alabama out, just for some reason. I don't know
Do you
why.
think a 2-loss team still gets in?
I mean, I don't think a two-loss team still gets in, but
You think they'll not? Well, you see, Alabama still has to play. They can get LSU's not very good this year, but
yeah,
it's still
yeah,
LSU. Then they got to
yeah.
play number 12 team Auburn. I think
That's
you can see,
true.
honestly, I think you can see one of those teams coming up to bite from the bottom half.
That's true. That's true. That's
From the
true.
bottom
Because
half,
like
they're just waiting for someone to fall.
that's true. It's
But
just
at the same time, Auburn
man.
lost to Penn State.
Yeah, this is just man. This is so hard. This is so hard to really just to
I feel like
choose.
we're too far out.
Yeah, because
We
this would
still have,
probably this would be a better question to ask in 2 weeks, I'd say.
yeah, because we're
Because
still
we're
5 weeks out
because
from when it matters.
this will be right before the Michigan State Ohio State game.
Uh,
That's probably a better question to ask when it comes to that. This is a question where it's like one of those before, like, for example, before the NFL draft, way too early season prediction
yeah,
type
yeah,
of video.
yeah, yeah,
That's what
yeah,
I was going for. I just wanted to see, like,
yeah, yeah.
who has like a big mind like that, who has a wild imagination. But speaking of which, in the NFL, I kind of want to roll into it. We're gonna have another episode on Thursday. Don't worry, we're gonna review some of the stuff that happened through Week 8, though. Starting with the last undefeated team in the NFL getting knocked off by John Wick, Aaron Rodgers. You know, he did not have Devontae Adams. He did not have Alan Lazar. He was out of his top 3 targets, and Rodgers went 22 for 37, 184, 2 touchdown passes, no interceptions. What did you watch any of that game on Thursday night?
I did. Yeah, I did watch a little bit of it.
Yeah, what'd you think of what'd you think of what you saw?
Um, it was the first time I've seen Arizona's offense not been able to drive down the field with
Yeah.
ease. It felt like they got to Kyler Murray early, and they didn't let off. They just kept pressing him, making him leave the pocket. I still think he's a great quarterback out of the pocket, but you're there to sit there. The quarterback's there to sit there and throw the ball, not run around the entire game. You obviously you get tired doing that. So
Exactly.
it was definitely I don't even know how to say it. I think Green Bay is a lot better than people think they are. I think they're a solid team this year.
Yeah, people kind of jumped on them after that first loss,
Lost to
their
Tampa
only
Bay.
loss to, against but like people jumped on them after Jameis Winston beat them. Like that was a beatdown. It was, but I mean, like,
it was Saints. I was thinking last year.
You think of
last
Jameis.
year beat down.
I understand. Yeah, because Tampa beat them down really bad last year. But I mean, it was only one loss like that. It took Green Bay to get rolling, and that's what the case has been this year. Obviously, like, like you said, they were sending pressure at Kyler Murray early and often, and they were making him get out of the pocket and like tire himself out, as well as make dumb, ill-advised throws. That's why he had 2 interceptions. He was 22 for 33, 274, 2 interceptions, no touchdown passes. They had to use the ground game. They actually had 3 rushing touchdowns that game. They had Chase Edmonds rushing touchdown, and they had 2 runs by James Conner. So they had to really rely on the run game and that sorts, but the run game wasn't that good. They just got the ball in the end zone when they needed to. But yeah, I mean, it just shows that the Packers can win games in multiple ways. I mean, they didn't have to have Aaron Rodgers throw for 300 or 400 yards. They didn't. I mean, I wouldn't say they didn't need Devontae Adams. Obviously, it hurt that he wasn't there, but they can win without guys like that. That just shows that.
I think it proves that the double running back theory in the NFL is kind of becoming a thing. Because you got a guy like Aaron Jones and A.J. Dillon, who are both stud running backs.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that double running back it's huge, though, because obviously if one guy's down, the other guy steps up. But even if both guys are in the lineup, they bring different, different
I think
elements to the game.
It helps, especially Cleveland. I think it helps a lot. It's like they don't play the same with one of those 2 out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because you look at a guy like Nick Chubb. He's able to run between the tackles really well and all that. He's still he's still fast, but like he's more of a downhill runner and all that, and works in between the tackles.
Type of guy.
Yep. Mm-hmm. And then Kareem Hunt brings the juice. That's what it is. And then we can't even forget about Dearness Johnson. I like the way he runs. I mean, he's a bit of he's a problem. Like you saw he only had Cleveland's lone touchdown on Sunday. So. But a team's really gonna like him next year because he's not gonna be in Cleveland next year. That's not how But yeah, like that double running back theory, that also like shows how like the running back position can decrease a little bit in value because obviously teams are not looking for a running back that'll be around for 15 years or so.
Yeah.
They're just looking for someone that fits their scheme very well. That's what it is. It's a schematic thing right there, having a running back like that. So normally you don't see running backs lasting 10 plus years on a team and stuff like that because, it's just part of scheme and part of evolving is how that is. But yeah, like I still think the Cardinals are going to be fine. They even
Yeah,
with Kyler Murray having a bad game, they still held the Packers to 24 points. I still think they're looking just fine. You look at the schedule ahead for them. They play the 49ers on Sunday in San Francisco. Then they play the Panthers and the Seahawks, who don't have Russell Wilson, but will most likely get Russell Wilson by the time they play them. So I think the Cardinals before December are going to reach 10 wins. I would say. I think they're
yeah,
going to be a 9-2 or 10-1 football team by the time they reach their bye week. The Packers, though, looking at them, wow, they play some tough games. I will say they play the
yeah,
Chiefs on Sunday. Obviously, you know the situation there. Well, we don't know the situation there because it's just so up in the air. Patrick Mahomes has been a really just questionable this year, highly
yeah,
questionable the entire season. Obviously, throwing a ton of touchdowns, but a ton of picks and turnovers, and just looks like a bunch of unforced turnovers in a way. And they play the Seahawks, which looks like it'll be the game where Russell Wilson potentially comes back. Then they play the Vikings and the Rams. So Green Bay has a couple of tough teams on their slate, but they show that they can win a game in many different ways. They can win a game without Devontae Adams. They can win the game running the football. They can win the game with Aaron Rodgers throwing for 400 yards. So I think this Green Bay team, I'm not worried about them one bit right now. They
no,
are they are rolling. That is
yeah,
that is for sure. Um, Going over to my team, my God, that was so embarrassing Sunday. Like I've said it. I think I've literally had this engraved in my mind. The fact that the game plan. I don't know if it was Zach Taylor or Lou Anarumo who had this call, but on a younger quarterback like Mike White, he's not a rookie, but still hasn't had a lot of playing experience in his first career start. Why do you rush 4, drop 7? That just gives them enough time, to hit. They're playing
yeah.
zone. We played zone like the whole day, and I don't know if you were watching that game because you're probably watching the Cleveland game, but
I was at Cedar Point this weekend,
well,
so I didn't really
okay,
watch
okay,
anything.
okay.
Yeah,
But yeah, I kind of feel you on that. But yeah, it was like we'd rush 4, wouldn't have very good pressure and all that stuff. We dropped 7, ran a lot of zone the entire day. We did not have great tackling, and but what they killed us on was running backs out of the backfield and receivers were sitting in the zones and there was no pressure up the middle for a quarterback to pick a side to try to extend the play to go left or right. We'd send pressure on the outsides with corners and linebackers and stuff like that, but that still allowed Mike White to stay in the pocket. That still allowed him to step up in the pocket. That still allowed him to keep moving vertical instead
yeah,
of horizontal. And he was able to, make quick throws and his guys were making plays and stuff like that. So that's what I saw Sunday. But you would think if he throws for 217 yards in the first half, that you would completely
changed
botch
your
that
game
game plan.
plan.
You would change
Yeah,
that game plan. And Cincinnati's defense through 7 weeks, I mean, they were a top 10 defense in the NFL. Like they would send pressure here and there. They would, change up looks. They disguise things really well. They did none of that Sunday, and that just looked like the old Cincinnati Bengals team that I've grown up watching, and that was painful. That was very painful.
yeah,
But that was frustrating. The offense was really inconsistent. Just some of the play calls I really just disagreed with. Um, you know, I understand Zach Taylor was saying on the Joe Burrow interception. I don't like the screens where it comes to a play action fake to a screen because when on that, if you want to throw a screen, I like a screen out of a shotgun, so then it's a quick snap, quick throw because
yeah,
it's literally one and done. That's what it is. Now, when we did on that screen right there, it was literally a fake play action to the right, and then he was going right and then turned back left and through. That guy's coming off the edge right here. Because if you think about it, if he's whipping his head back here to throw, someone literally might be standing right in that alley and he might be
yeah,
throwing to someone that's completely completely botched the play. And so the guy got his hands up and made a nice play on the ball. So that's the type of risk that you run into. And that was just super untimely and all that. But you wouldn't have to worry about that if you wouldn't have had that stupid play call in your mind in that time. Like, I mean, we were only up, what was it? We were only up up 3 in that situation. I know we were up 5 in that situation. Same thing. Still a touchdown ball game.
Yeah.
We were down in our own territory. It's just some of the play calls and some of the decisions. Joe Burrow got sacked with about, I'd say 3 minutes ago. It was 4th and 19 with about 2.5 remaining in the fourth quarter. And I get it was 4th and 19, but still let Joe Burrow try to make a play. Like, it doesn't matter where the Jets get the ball on the field if you have 3 timeouts. That does not matter. Like, and we punt.
Yeah.
That was frustrating. I was that got me up out of my seat. And I was just me and my dad were just so infuriated. It was ridiculous. Like, just that kind of stuff, like the little nitpicky stuff and the decision making that Zach Taylor has made throughout his tenure. I'd say this year he's done a pretty good job overall, but then he just reverted back to all the stuff that happened in the past, and that was very painful, and it was hard to watch with Cincinnati. The offense, man, if they have their foot on the gas all the time, they could be a top 10 offense. Like,
Yeah.
that's just so frustrating how you have all of that talent and all that gas and you don't use it. Like, you don't use it. You don't use it all the time every Sunday. Like something has to wake this team up. And that's just normally how it is every Sunday. You should literally be going out there trying to score every possession instead of just being conservative here, conservative there. And then like, oh, it's time to score like that. That's the frustrating part to me right there, because we literally showed that we could not run the football on Sunday. And we still kept trying to just run it. And then now it's just wasting time here, wasting time there. And then some of the concepts that we were using. Honestly, I wouldn't say Joe Burrow played a good game. 3 touchdown passes, had that 1 interception off the tip ball. I still think he played a good game. Like, I have no problem with the way that he played at all. It was just the play calling in general, both on offense and defense, schematically. That is the huge problem with my Cincinnati team right now. People are like, are they pretenders? Like, they're pretenders and stuff like that. Okay, look, the Titans lost to the Jets. All right, they lost.
So.
There's so like, that's the thing. Any given Sunday, that's just as simple as it is. Like, the Jets lost. The Jets beat the Titans. I'm not saying just because of that. Like, a good team can lose to a bad team.
Yeah, at the end of the day, they're still professional athletes.
Exactly.
They're there for a reason.
Exactly. They are there for a reason. Like Mike White, in his first career start and stuff like that. Like, you're like, who is this guy? He's a professional quarterback. Like, he's there for a reason. These guys are there for a reason, playing football any given Sunday. That's kind of how I look at it. I don't think we're in trouble. I think we're in trouble if something happens Sunday and we lose to you guys. That's where I think I'd kind of panic. But I wouldn't press the panic.
I don't know about that for sure. I think
it's just because of the schedule we have going down the road. It's like,
yeah, that's true.
Yeah, but then like enough of that. I could literally ramble on about the Bengals, and it's gonna make me cry. But how about the Browns? Like, I know you said you didn't watch the game Sunday and stuff like that, but you kind of went back. Did you kind of go back and look at some stuff? Like,
yeah, that's what I'm doing right now.
Okay, yeah. Because I watched a little bit of the game, like here and there on commercials and like during halftime and stuff. And honestly, it didn't look like Ben was bothered the entire day. Like, when it came to his numbers, throwing 22 for 34, 266 and a touchdown pass. And then Najee Harris, 26 carries, 91 yards and a touchdown. Deontay Johnson was 6 for 98. And then Baker's stats, 20 for 31, 225, no touchdowns, no picks. Looked like they limited Nick Chubb 16 carries for 61 yards, and then Jarvis Landry's 5 for 65. What are your thoughts going ahead with this team?
I got one big claim. You see in the media right now. Cleveland Browns.
Keeping up with that.
You got to get rid of OBJ. You got to get rid of him.
Yeah, it's just not a good fit. It's not a good fit.
I've been a big supporter of him and saying it will work out. He's too much of a me guy. He's just not a good locker room talent. He does his play style doesn't fit the scheme that Cleveland's trying to play. Mm-hmm. They're a ground and pound team first, then pass second. And I mean, if you look at last year's team compared to this year's team, they played so much better once he got hurt. And I don't want him to get hurt. I'm not saying wasn't happy when he got hurt, but they
It's just
played a
the
lot better
numbers.
with him. Yeah, they
It's
played a
the
lot
numbers,
better with him
and
out without him on the field than they are this year with him on the field. I mean, they're 4-4, so it's not good. Now what? There's 18 games this year in football.
17, but 18 weeks.
17.
Yeah. Yep. Same thing.
Now I think 13-4 would definitely still make the playoffs.
Yeah.
But yeah, they have a lot. I'm not so panicked yet because I mean they didn't play bad. I mean if you look at the numbers, Baker didn't play bad. 20 for 31, 225. Just didn't throw a touchdown. They just couldn't get the ball in the end zone.
Mm-hmm.
And even look, they were winning majority of this game. They were up. I mean they're up 3-0. Then it was tied. Then they're up 10. And it was 10-9. And Pittsburgh just scored 6 and 4th, and we just couldn't get the ball in the end zone.
Yeah.
Looked like the entire day just couldn't get the ball in the end zone. That's James Johnson.
Yeah.
But I mean, our defense, it looks like they're finally waking up, so that's good. See our defense waking up a little bit.
Yeah, because it looked like the Browns' defense is so they're so hot cold. Like they can, they can literally look like one of the best defense in football one week, and then the next week they're just getting gashed on and everything. So they played good overall on Sunday. Like obviously they held them to 15 points and a lot of drives that stalled out for Pittsburgh. So
yeah, I think for sure they gotta win.
This is
I think this is a must-win game.
This is a must-win game. I mean, it's a must-win game definitely for Cleveland. I personally think, as a Bengals fan, just because of our past, this is a must-win game for us because this is a big game. This is think about all the circumstance. Battle of Ohio, Cincinnati. If Cincinnati's able to win, we're literally a half game out of first place right now and own the tiebreaker over Baltimore. So we win. We kind of control our destiny as of right now. Okay, and then the Browns win. They're over 500. They're back over 500.
They're back to 5. They're 5-4 with, I think, rolling should be a 2-game win streak into Baltimore. We have to pick Lions then.
So that's So that's the thing. Like this is big, especially for the Browns trying to get on a winning streak going into a tough game like Baltimore on Sunday Night Football.
Games. They got Baltimore back to back.
That's true, back to back because
they have that bye week, and then they have
But and then the Bengals standpoint, we're going into our bye after Cleveland, so this is where you kind of want to get things going. You want to have a good spot going into the bye, and then we play teams like the Raiders and the Steelers and the Chargers, which I will be at that game. But you play teams like that, so you kind of want to have good stuff going in, especially after a bad loss against the Jets. And you're coming in at home, and 6 of your next 8 games are in the jungle. So you need to take advantage of that, especially division opponent. If you go 3-0 in the division going into the bye, that sets up a lot of things well because you play because the next 2 of 3 division games are in the jungle. So that's going to get a lot of confidence, and playing in your home place when it comes to November, December football is huge.
Yeah.
So we'll talk about the Cincinnati-Cleveland matchup on Thursday. That's going to be big. Like there's a lot of stuff. There's a lot of stuff to unfold when it comes to that.
Yeah, it's really big game. Hey, are you going to the game this weekend? Are you going this weekend?
No, I'm not. Like those ticket prices are unbelievable.
Pull off the bluff then for it. Watch it here.
We'll talk about that. We'll talk about that on Thursday. We'll see what
Keegan's coming up. Keegan's coming up. So
Keegan's coming up Thursday? Okay.
Or Keegan's coming up Saturday night. He's staying Sunday.
I might come up Saturday night, honestly. I don't know. I mean, I got nothing going on. Sunday, you don't want to see me on Sunday with a Bengals game. Like that's the thing. But
come on.
I mean, you'll see me one time or so. We'll talk about this. We'll talk about this off camera. Looking at other games, I think we're going to hop down to the 4:00 one that needs to be highlighted. The Saints beat the Bucks. No Jameis for most of the game. Yeah. Like the fact that they beat the Bucks is a surprise in itself, but the fact that Jameis was a dog before he got hurt. He was playing some good football. Then he gets hurt. Then Trevor Siemian comes in. And Trevor Siemian and them get a win. Like,
I mean, you gotta look though. Siemian wasn't bad.
He wasn't. Like,
He
you
wasn't that before he
look at the
got like kind of
yeah.
tossed from the league. He really
Mhm.
what the Broncos, right?
Yeah, he's with the Broncos, and I feel like he was somewhere else though. Like, I feel like he was somewhere else for a minute. But yeah, like he honestly wasn't bad on Sunday though.
No.
Like overall, he did his job. That's the thing. 16 for
Yeah.
29, 159 and a touchdown. Um, so he did not play a bad game at all. That's all I'll
No.
say. The defense stepped up really big when they needed to.
For
That's the
sure.
whole thing of the story. But it was a tight game. It was a tight game the whole way, like in the second half. Because if you look, I'll get that box score going. New Orleans in the third quarter after the Alvin Kamara touchdown, they were up 23-7. They were up pretty good. And then, Bucks touchdown, 5:33 in the third. Bucks touchdown, with a minute 15. And the Saints hit a field goal. And then there's a big touchdown for the Bucks with 5:44 left. So, it was a 27-26 ball game. So the fact that Trevor Siemian was able to lead a drive down there against a Tom Brady led team and kick that field goal with a minute 41 to go, that's huge. That is, you
Yeah.
can't overlook that. Like you said before, these are professional quarterbacks. They are in the
Yeah.
National Football
They're
League for a
for a
reason.
reason.
So people might be surprised about who they beat and stuff like that. Like saying, okay, a surprise Mike White beat the Bengals. Surprise Trevor Siemian beat the Saints. Surprise Cooper. Beat the Bucks. Surprised that Cooper Rush beat the Vikings and stuff. We'll get to that in a moment. But like I said, these are professional quarterbacks and they're in the league for a reason. And they rallied behind Trevor Siemian and all that. They were able to get the Brady a little bit. 3 sacks for the defense. It's they had 6 tackles for loss and that huge interception for a pick 6 by PJ Williams. When it comes to the Bucks, I'm not worried about them. I'm not
they'll be
at all.
fine.
This is
I mean, the Saints 5-2.
it.
So
Just
it's not
showed
like they lost to a bad team.
yeah, it showed the Saints are legit. They have a good overall team that doesn't really matter like right now who they need at quarterback because I think ultimately they'll end up in the playoffs. Like I think they'll be a wild card, but
Yeah.
like they'll ultimately end up in the playoffs. They could have anybody really run the show back there as long as they don't go off the rails of a crazy train. That's just how it is. But
Yeah.
looking ahead at both of these team schedules, Saints play the Falcons on Sunday. So they have the Falcons. Their next 3 games are the Falcons at home. Then they play in Tennessee. We got to talk about this, though. We got to talk about this. The Derrick Henry thing.
Oh,
What
yeah.
in the world? What in the world? Like, I did not see that coming. I just saw his stats were, 26 for 98 on Sunday. I just thought it was a normal day in the office where he didn't have 100 yards, but it was still like he still ran the ball almost 30 times, and they won.
Yeah.
I don't even know what the whole what play he got hurt on, or if it was just a continuous injury that he had throughout the game that just got worse and worse and worse, or whatever. But that really caught me off guard
Yeah, for sure.
yesterday. But that's gonna be huge because Ryan Tannehill has not played spectacular this year. I think Ryan Tannehill's numbers this year, 10 touchdowns, 7 picks, 2,000 yards in 8 games. So they're gonna have to go to the air a lot more. And, obviously going into the winter, going into the December football, because this is their division. They're going to win that division. I don't think there's much of a question about it. But going into December, when they don't have that guy to run the football with, they're going to have to go with running back by committee, but he's got to use his arm if they want to get somewhere.
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, the Saints have a matchup against them in 2 weeks, which that'll be a very fun highlight matchup to see right there. And then the Saints play the Eagles on November 21st. And I also want to say the Bills and Saints play each other on November 25th, Thanksgiving night on NBC. Drew Brees' first game back in the Dome as well. On the call right there of Mike Tirico. So the Saints have 2 big matchups in that time frame. I think they can take care of business against the Falcons and the Eagles. The Eagles, though, they normally seem to play up the competition level, play down to competition level. They beat the Lions. They destroyed the Lions on Sunday, so they didn't play down to competition level then. But, looking at the Saints, I think going into that Bills game, I think they'll 2-1 in these next three. I think they'll be about 7-3 going into that game.
I would
So
agree with that.
I mean, they're gonna be. I think they're gonna be a good wild card team when it's all said and done in the regular season. And going to the Bucks, not much concern. They play. I mean, they have a bye week this week. They play Washington. They should take care of business against Washington. Not. I mean, playing Taylor Heineke. Heineke last year balled out against them in the playoffs. He did, but it just does not look like the same Washington football team. Then they play the Giants, and then they play the Colts. So I think that's going to be an easy 3 game rise right there. And they'll be 9-2 going into December. So not worried about the Bucks, not worried about the Saints. Those are two very good teams that are going to meet each other in late December. For a very entertaining Sunday Night Football game on Week 15.
Yeah.
But talking about Sunday Night Football, rolling into the Week 8 one that we just saw, Dak Prescott didn't play in this game. Kind of caught me off guard a little bit, especially after the bye week and the time that he had off. But it was a good call because Cooper Rush got the job done.
Yeah.
I mean, you look at that. Yeah.
I mean, they're gonna do what they want. That they're gonna do. Cowboys have the easiest division in football.
Yeah, they have the easiest division in football, and they.
There's no. I mean, it makes sense why not to play them though. It's the Vikings, not like a very phone tone or very what am I trying to say? Very intimidating opponent.
Yeah, because
there's no reason to rush your quarterback back from injury for a game like that. Same with this week up against the Cowboys and against the Broncos. Same thing. They could probably get away with the backup quarterback. Even the week after that with the Falcons. I don't see the Cowboys don't play anybody until they play the Chiefs on 21st. I think the Chiefs will be fine at the end of the year.
Yeah, I think so too.
They'll pick it up. Mm-hmm. But I mean, if you look at the Cowboys schedule, I think they have the easiest schedule coming out. You got the Broncos, Falcons, Chiefs, Raiders on Thanksgiving, and then you got the Saints.
That should be good as well.
That should be one of their good games. At the Saints, that should be a good game. Then they have Washington, Giants, Washington, Arizona should be a good game, and then the Eagles at the end of the year. I think they probably have to have one of the easiest schedules in football.
I mean, if I'm looking at the line, just looking, just as you just looking at my eyes right now, Broncos win, Falcons win. I'm looking at straight locks. Washington both times should be a lock. Giants should be a lock, and Eagles should be a lock. So that right there is 4, 5, 6 locks. That puts them at 12. That wasn't at 12 already. And then and then the Cowboys, if they win one of those tough games, they could, if they beat the Chiefs or the Raiders or the Saints or the Cardinals, if they even go 1-3 in that point right there, they're 13-4, and they could potentially be having home field advantage. That's, like you said, they have not one of probably the easiest schedule for a good team like that the rest of the way. Mm-hmm. So, and they are a good football team. Their defense looks completely different than it did last year. Dak is worth the money. That's just how it is.
Yeah.
The run game, I really like their running backs. Obviously Ezekiel Elliott has played good football. Last year it wasn't too pretty, but this year he's back. And then the addition of Tony Pollard gives them kind of a new gear. They can run the ball a little laterally, gives them a new burst of energy. The fact that people are trying to say that he is, that some people, some dumb fans might be saying, oh, he's better than Zeke, play him more. That's not that narrative should be crushed. Ezekiel Elliott is still a top running back in football. It's just that, like you said, the 2 running back system, that system, it works. It works. I mean, that's just how it is. I mean, works for the Packers, works for the Cardinals, works for the Cowboys and stuff. And those are the top teams in the NFC. They were to do that, and obviously Amari Cooper, CeeDee Lamb. I really like Cedric Wilson. I like Cedric Wilson, their third receiver, a lot. He had that big touchdown in the third quarter with, I believe, that was early in the third quarter. It was a 73-yard touchdown from Cooper Rush. Since Michael Gallup's not in the lineup, he's on IR. Cedric Wilson has been a go-to, and he's really, really stepped up as a target. He had that big 4th down catch against the Patriots to get that game-winning field goal on that same drive. So he's done a spectacular job this year, stepping up in the absence of Michael Gallup. So this and the Cowboys' offensive line, that's the big thing. Offensive line's been very good this year. All right,
Yeah.
cannot discount that. And then last year before, they was kind of shaky, but overall, like in the past, they had a very good offensive line, but they have a very good offensive line this year. So, I mean, the Cowboys are like one of the most complete teams in football, and they have an easy schedule. So that looks very nice. And then
Yeah.
I kind of look at the Vikings. Like that's one of the teams that's kind of, are they for real or are they not? I only saw part of the show last week when my Wi-Fi infamously cut off, knock on wood somewhere. What did you say about the Vikings last week? Like what was your thoughts on them? I don't know, like I couldn't really tell.
I just thought they were kind of like not as good as people think they are. I feel like it wasn't more the Vikings, it was more the Raiders I was talking about.
It might be because the Raiders normally they normally
Have
kind of
this. They do this every year.
Yep, every year they've done it. They've done it at least the last 3 years, at least. But like they exceed expectations. Oh my! And then they plummet downhill in November, December, and who knows? That might be the case. But I mean, they won
Maybe
2 in
not,
a row.
yeah.
It might not be the case this year. Who knows? But yeah, looking at the Vikings, obviously Kirk Cousins has had a good year up to this point. I believe it's like 14 touchdowns with 2 picks. Dalvin Cook was held pretty well on Sunday. Well, he did average 4 yards a carry, I will say. Didn't see a whole lot of Justin Jefferson. Adam Thielen went 6 catches, 78 yards, and a touchdown. But man, I wouldn't say that they didn't see a whole lot of Justin Jefferson. They shut him down. 2 catches for 21 yards. Wow.
Yeah.
They shut down their other options right there. They let Adam Thielen have a game, and not, I wouldn't say a spectacular game. He had a good game. But they had Justin Jefferson, 2 for 21. They had KJ Osborne, 2 for 10. KJ Osborne's been a really good third target for Kirk Cousins in that offense. And honestly, he might be one of my new favorite players. But they took those guys out of it. They really did. They said, we're going to take those 2 explosive options out and let Adam Thielen do his thing. So, and that ultimately worked.
Yeah.
And the Vikings defense isn't particularly impressive. So, and the Cowboys with Cooper Rush were able to throw for 300 yards and win the game on a game-winning drive to Amari Cooper. So, just shows that the Cowboys are legit. They're a legit team. We'll see them in January. We'll see what they're made of in January, though. So, that's kind of what that comes to. And then, did you get a chance to catch that Monday night game last night?
I watched the last couple of drives.
It was so weird that whole night, though. It just Mahomes looked off the whole night. 29 for 48, 275.
I would be off too if I had to live with the people he used to live with.
Oh my god, yeah, we don't. Man.
So bad.
Seriously though, like they just even Chiefs fans you guys need to literally shut up. You guys need to calm down.
Stop going to games. They just stop posting about the Chiefs. Like we don't care.
That makes them talking about it's the most toxic. It's the most toxic team. Outside of actual football players and all that stuff. Like I got a point.
Yeah.
But Mahomes he's just let off. He really has 29 for 48. Just I think I talked about it on 2 episodes ago or whatever. Just kind of the way he's been playing. You look at his quarterback rating though, 19.3 yesterday. Quarterback ratings out of a scale of 100. Passer ratings out of a scale of 158.3. His quarterback rating was 19 out of 100 yesterday. That's and I think the league average is 54. That's what a league average is. But I mean, there obviously was just something off about him. I don't know what it is. We're obviously the entire nation's still trying to figure that out. Their team's trying to figure it out.
Yeah.
19 touchdown passes. That's 4th in the league. 10 interceptions. That's 4th worst in the league. 56.7 QBR, which is top 12, but last night's game obviously did not help his case. They only beat them by 3. They didn't run the ball so well. I mean, toward the end, they actually did because they were milking the clock and all that. Tyreek Hill, 12 catches for 94 yards. They threw him a lot of short passes to try to get him going, but I mean, averaging less than 8 yards a catch isn't so getting him going. Uh, they let the Giants run the ball, right? Devontae Booker averaged 4 yards a carry. The Giants were able to take some shots down the field without any worry. Daniel Jones played pretty well, 22 for 32, 222, 2 touchdowns and a pick. So this Chiefs defense, they haven't really figured anything out. They haven't. And they have that guy, that man, Aaron Rodgers, coming into Arrowhead Sunday on national TV. Joe Buck, Troy Aikman. Oh boy.
Yeah, should be an interesting game, to say the least.
For sure. This is oh my gosh, this is so weird because obviously we haven't seen this from the Chiefs. The Chiefs haven't had a bad season since 2012 when they got the number 1 overall pick with Eric Fisher, and since then, I believe it was 11-5, 9-7, 11-5. Playoffs since 2013. I think they missed in 2014, but they went to the playoffs every other year since. So they haven't had a problem at all. But this is a little weird, especially with Patrick Mahomes at the helm, where this is the first time they've seen problems. And Chiefs fans are trying to they're trying to navigate this in whatever way possible. And the Chiefs organization is like, okay, we're not going to panic. We're still trying to figure this out, but I think they'll eventually get it figured out. I kind of look at their schedule though. So they unlike the Cowboys, I'm sorry, they play a very tough schedule. They play the Packers at home. They play the Packers at Arrowhead. They travel to Vegas on Sunday Night Football, and then they come back and play the Cowboys on national TV. So, and then they play the Broncos at home. Like it's these next 4 games. I could see them 5-5. Like that's the thing. I could see them at 5-5. Going well. No, sorry. I was looking at the wrong thing. I could see them in their next 2 games being 5-5 though. I could see them losing to the Packers and beating the Raiders, or even vice versa. I don't know. I mean, or at worst case, if the Raiders are playing good football still, hell, they could be 4-6.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, do I think the Chiefs are going to turn it around? Yes. When are they going to turn it around? Not sure. Soon, because they're not.
What is it? How many teams make the playoffs?
7 in each conference. So
7 each.
So I honestly think they're going to be the 3rd wild card. Like I think they're just going to slip in. I have that feeling they're going to be a 6 or 7. Like I think the Chargers or Raiders will win that division. Believe it or not. But then again, we also got to look at that too. The Chiefs are a game and a half out of the division after playing so bad. Like they're a game and a half. They're a half game out from the Chargers. They're a game and a half out of the Raiders. So we also got to look at that too. Their division's pretty tight, like our division.
Yeah.
So it's like, a lot of things can happen in a 2 to 3 week time period. So like, they play. So they obviously playing the Packers. I think they're going to lose Sunday, but okay, that's kind of foreshadowing picks, but that's all right.
Save it for Thursday.
But yeah, like they play the Packers, who are a playoff team right now. They play the Raiders, who are considered a playoff team, who are first place in their division. They're playing the Cowboys, who are a playoff team. They're playing the Broncos, who have the same record as them. They play the Raiders again. They play the Chargers, who beat them earlier in the year. They play the Steelers, who are above 500. They play the Bengals, who are a playoff team right now, and they play the Broncos, who are the same record as them right now. They don't have a game against a team below 500 the rest of the season as of today. Obviously, that will change, But looking at it right now, if I am a Chiefs fan, I'm saying, Patrick Mahomes, you got to figure something out, buddy. You got to be a magician right now.
Yeah. I'm looking just at the standings right now. It's open. It's really open for anybody to make the playoffs, at least in the AFC side.
Oh, yeah. Yeah,
the AFC, really open.
I don't see a single team that's really dominating everything. Like,
no.
This
is the best team right now is the best overall record is the Titans, but the Titans have had their hands of losses.
Yeah,
the Cardinals to the Jets.
Yeah, and it
wasn't
just a close game against the Cardinals. It was a blowout. So
especially losing Derrick Henry for the next 8 to 10 weeks.
Yeah, so the AFC is literally a soap opera right now. This is
going to be fun. AFC North. and the AFC West they're both in very similar
Yes, they are.
fields.
Because you
Where
think about it.
any of these teams could really make the playoffs out of any of those. All
Yeah,
these teams
because
have playoff chances. They just have to win the games they need to.
the top. I mean, the top 11, the top 11 teams in the AFC from 1 seed down to 11 seed are separated by 2 games.
Yeah.
That I don't think I've seen that 8 weeks into the season. I don't think I've ever seen that before
Yeah.
because it's anyone's game. It's anyone's game. Like literally, hell, even if the freaking Patriots got hot, it could be theirs. Like it could be
Yeah.
anyone's thing. That's the thing. What if the Chiefs before? I believe they were 6-4 through week 10 in 2019 when they won a Super Bowl that year. What they do after they lost to the Titans and they were 6-4, won 6 in a row, went to the playoffs, had those games where they came from behind 10 down and won the Super Bowl. Like, will that happen again? I'm not a betting man. I couldn't tell you, but it just takes one of those games to just start to like literally turn on the switch, and you're not turning that switch off until you're doing something for a city where you're hosting
Yeah.
the trophy up. Like anything can happen in between this, in between this time frame and this gap. There's a two game gap with this amount of teams.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the AFC right there. The NFC, I'd say it's more of a shorter list.
Oh yeah.
Obviously Packers, Cardinals, Cowboys,
Rams.
Bucks is the top 4 right there, and the Rams at 7-1. I don't think the Saints are on the level of those teams yet. They're not. I
No.
think they could.
I
They
think they're on the outside right there, but they'll
yeah.
definitely.
The Saints can win a playoff game this year. They can.
Yeah.
They're good enough to. They can catch a team on like they beat the Bucks, but they could catch a team. They could win a playoff game. But yeah, looking at that 5, it's the Packers, Cardinals, Cowboys, Bucks, Rams in no particular order, but that's really those 5 right there, and those 5 are all playoff teams. Like the AFC, there's 11 teams inside a 2-game split. And we don't know who the playoff teams are because they only take 7. And 4 of those teams are going to say bye-bye. Those 5 teams are all going to make the playoffs. And I have there's no doubt in my mind that one of those teams will fall off like that. So there's not that much, there's still like the Saints have a nice comfortable gap from where the Panthers are at 4-4. It's really the Panthers and the Vikings are the 2 teams battling it out right now for the 7 line. And then also the Niners are right there as well as the Falcons. But a couple of teams are going to fall off as well. So, AFC, NFC looks are a bit deceiving right now. Chiefs are very deceiving look. Forgot the other team that game was the Giants. They're done. I mean, that's just that's just how it is. Week 9 is going to be fun. I think there's some good games that we're going to highlight on Thursday. And before we get off of here, which we will in just a moment, kind of want to look at this World Series matchup. 3-0 right now. Braves are over the Astros at the end of the 4th. Braves are up 3-2. What's really going on this World Series? Have you watched? I'm assuming you've watched some of it.
Yeah.
What could you tell us? Like this, kind of like this for the series.
Power on full display for both sides. Say that. See a lot of hard hit balls that have gone up fences. I mean, you see Jorge Soler already hit a home run in this game. Braves are up 3-0 right now.
Yep.
Going into the top of the 5th. I think this will be it. Going even before the game started, I was saying today that this game 6 is over. You got Max Fried in the mound for the Braves. He's 1-0 in the series. So, I mean, the Astros do have they have been known to battle back and fight through stuff. I just don't see how they're doing it tonight.
Yeah, especially after that 3-run homer in the 3rd inning. Like obviously, teams, if you get guys on base and you're able to put one out, then that can change the game in just an instant. But yeah, like honestly, that's where your pitching rotation in the month of October and November is huge. They're in the World Series. They're in during that crunch time, stuff like that. That's where your pitching rotation is really when it comes into play.
Yeah.
obviously want to get the bats out and all. But if you play defense and get a couple hit balls here and there, you're winning some games and you're winning the World Series.
Yeah.
But yeah, like Atlanta's still trying to crush that narrative after a 25-point lead and blowing 3-1 leads and stuff like that. So they're still trying to crush the narrative. Are they going to do it tonight? It looks pretty good right now as they lead the series 3-2 and are in Houston. We'll talk about that on Thursday, what the result is, because I believe if there will be a game 7, that will be tomorrow. But who knows if we'll need one. So, and then we'll do a little scratching the surface of the NBA talk, on Thursday and stuff, because a lot of weird standings are going on right now, and we're not. Yeah, it just looks so weird, and we're just gonna talk about some of the stuff going on in the league come Thursday. Thanks everybody for being on, watching the show tonight. Obviously we posted up to YouTube when we get off of here. Brady, get better. Obviously sucks being sick and all that. Get right. Jake, thanks for being on tonight. This was
for
fun.
having me.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I'd be glad to do two episodes a week so I can see you and Brady's faces and talk, just talk a lot of football and, just a lot of sports in general. So, for Jake Shaver, Chase Jounce, we'll see you guys Thursday.